Paul, for clarity purposes, are Sheffield United still under a transfer embargo?
Yeah.
Any indication as to when that might get sorted?
When the bill gets paid. That's it. So I know what questions you're going to ask, so I'll try and answer it all in one. So yeah, so when the bill gets paid, we could come out. Up until then, won't be doing anything. So we're just looking at obviously possible players, possible things we might want to do, and then trying to find out exactly what that looks like if it gets closer and closer to the window. Where does it leave us, you know? So yeah, so just seeking clarity and all that sort of stuff from the FL.
Was that delayed payment, or is that delayed payment due to the seemingly quite convoluted system of transfers and all sorts of other deals are paid in instalments, aren't they? So Sheffield United are waiting for something before they pay somebody else. Oh,
I've not got a clue. Not got a clue. Just know that we owe money to football club, and until we pay it, we can't come out of it.
Yeah. So you've got, should something happen, say today, you can sort of hit a green light on a transfer.
No,
maybe
we're not in that position.
Right.
Because that doesn't change where we are financially ourselves. You know what I mean? So all that does, if we pay that bill, it means we're out of embargo. And the question will be asked then, if we pay that bill, does that affect what money we may have had for a player as well? So yeah, all these things are what we're just wanting clarity on while we're looking at players.
Right. So presumably then, as I'm sort of seeking clarity in my ignorance about this kind of thing, once that bill has been paid, is it sort of an automatic thing, or is there still kind of an admin process which takes time?
No, I think literally, yeah, both. Literally, but as the money hits the EFL's account, that's it. It's deemed resolved.
Changing tack slightly, obviously, you know, jungle drums beat at this time of year, don't they, about this player and that player, etc. Has there been anything remotely that could be construed as interest in Sander, Illiman or anybody else at Sheffield United?
There's been interest. I think there's been interest. And there always is. You start to hear it before windows, things like that. There's been interest, but there's been no bids. And
have you had any kind of assurance that the club will stand firm in this window, that somebody just won't leave between now and the bell?
No, all I can do is stress the same things, like the position we've got ourselves in. I don't want anyone to leave. Like I say, the landscape's changed obviously where we are and what we've got, which from a football point of view, if we're embargoed, I'd say even more importantly they don't leave. Yeah, so my stance on that won't change.
Yeah. From looking sort of longer term, if this moment hopefully is characterised in a few weeks' time as just a blip in the road, how important is it that sort of Sheffield United's reputation within the maelstrom of a transfer market with agents and all that kind of thing isn't affected?
Yeah, well, of course it's important it's not affected, but I don't think it is. There's lots of people operate this time. We've got a few more clubs in this league under embargo. I think it's more how you deal with people that affects your reputation. When that's players and you're speaking with them from a football point of view, or their agents from a financial point of view, and then other football clubs. So, yeah, like I said, the rules with the EFL and the sanctions and the embargo are there to protect things like that. So the football clubs know they're going to get money, they're going to get what they're owed, which is correct. It's a correct thing. Just so happens that we're on the wrong end of it now.
Changing tack then to football-related issues. Well, given the fact that Adam has sat there a few minutes ago, how many changes are you thinking of making for the cup tie this weekend?
Just see, make sure everyone comes through fit. So there'll be 1 or 2 changes, but that's sort of normal to where we are and what we've been doing. We've got players who I think need the minutes. We've got players who, need minutes because they may be coming back from injury. Possibly need minutes in a slightly different position to help us in the running. Because look, and part of me thinking of that as well is the situation we find ourselves in. If we can't bring another player in, this is what we've got. If we are embargoed, it's what we've got. So making sure that, for example, the front players we've got at the minute are going to be the ones we're working with till we get Rian back. Same with the midfielders. So just making sure that Whilst we're setting up to win the game, there won't be wholesale changes, you know. It'll be a similar approach to Millwall. We want to win the game, but we'll still make changes that we think benefit us as well going forward.
I know we spoke last Friday, didn't we? You don't consider having a starting 11, but for those that are a preferred starting 11, rather, how important is it for those that maybe haven't played much? They view this cup tie as an almost like a carrot type moment. So if you want to play in the league fixtures,
yeah, every game we approach every game like that. It's not been rocket science the approach to it, whether that's been last season, this season. I think, I say it all the time, the aim to get to is getting 16, 17, 18 players at that level where they're performing well enough to have a genuine right to be in the team, you know. And that's part of the reason for making changes, for changing people about. We've seen it in his midfield positions, we've seen it up front, we've seen it with Bash when he came in at Millwall, how good he was. Yeah, so it's part of the reason. You want everyone fighting and ready to perform, and likewise you never know when then that may be needed, whether that's because of an injury, suspension, or someone else's loss of form.
How would you handle Hollywood owners and having every step of training tracked potentially for a documentary to go out across America?
Yeah, our guys have enough trouble trying to get me on their drone and their cameras. Yeah, I wouldn't be interested in it, that's just me.
It's a wonderful story what's happened to that football club though, isn't it? And the circumstances, okay, yeah, the two owners, but what they're ultimately trying to achieve.
Yeah, fair play to them. I think I saw the first two bits of the documentary when they eventually get hands on the club and they're speaking in front of the fans, you know, over Zoom and that. And probably a surreal moment for them fans on the other end of it. But brought a big amount of interest. Wrexham on the map to a lot more people maybe didn't know them. I think in football circles, everyone knows that they're sort of sleeping giant at that level. But you can see with the signings they've made, the recruitments they've made, whether that's been at board level, management, and then players, that it's only a matter of time before they get back in the Football League, and then who knows what happens, because I don't think it'll stop there.
From an FA Cup perspective, do you reckon then that this is kind of a typical sort of banana skin tie with all the kind of added glamour that is being put on this cup tie for those very reasons? Yeah,
and I think that's how it's been built. I think that's why it's been picked for the TV. Yeah, 100%. But that's not. It's nothing to do with us. Ours is another football match. Like I say, we want to win it. We pick a team to win it, but also we've got other things that we're thinking about, and not just this game. Look, we'd love another game in the FA Cup after this one, but we have to get past Wrexham. But likewise, we know we've got another 18 league games, which are all vitally important. So whilst we're trying to win this, like I say, we're still preparing for the Rotherham game, which is next, and then some big ones after that.
Well, obviously they've got a very good manager. Parkinson's been around for years, hasn't he? What are their football threats?
Well, as I said to the players this morning, they've got a lot of players who probably turned down League One football to go and play in the conference. So they're not a typical conference team in terms of ability and reputation and quality. So we know we're facing a team who are in a false position because of that. Don't make it any easier for them to get out of that league. If they get out, it's one of the toughest leagues to get out of. But they're up there, they've won every home game. So we know that's a big thing in front of us to stop someone and beating a team who wins every game at home. Threats at the top end of the pitch, so if they want to be direct into Palmer, they've got, you know, Mullen playing off the shoulder and who scores a lot of goals at a higher level than this as well. Midfielders breaking forward, making the box, whether that's Young, whether that's Lee. Yeah, and then they've got obviously the long throw weapon Tozer as well, which they've used well and scored lots of goals from it. So we know they're going to be a threat set plays. We know they're going to be a threat putting the ball in our box and getting bodies in our box. And we know we're going to have to deal with that and then try and hurt them with what we want to do and make it difficult for them.